Today we have the only country in GeoGuessr Explorer mode that has no official coverage, which is also the largest country in the mode with in population, India. So, a few things before we start that the main difficulty that you have in playing this, I usually play with the daily challenge sort of settings, which allow moving, and because of the lack of official coverage, you can't move very much in an India map. So I have the usual daily challenge settings. I do retain the option of moving if it is allowed by the settings. That typically, if you can move, it's around a small area that that is determined, by whoever uploaded the coverage to Google. So we have. Okay, is this the dumb test? Yep. This is the dumb. Well, maybe not. Okay. Uh, but yeah, it's something certainly that's very large and has traditional Mughal architecture, like the Taj Mahal. Okay. Oh, I should mention there's in the GeoGuessr community, people mention that in Bangladesh the language has a line across the top. This is an example of Nagari script, which is not the script used for Bengali, but also has a line across the top. And so Nagari script is used for Hindi, which is kind of the principal descendant of Sanskrit, spoken in several states of India. And also, Nagari script is used for Nepali and for Marathi, which is the state language of Maharashtra state. Maharashtra is located around, it's the state that contains Mumbai here. Um, okay, so we will walk around the white marble palazzo and try to decide if this is in fact the Taj Mahal. Um, Wait, isn't the Taj Mahal pinkish though? Which I think this maybe isn't. Uh, the no photography sign. Okay. Um, Yep. So this certainly, great Mughal structure has Arabic calligraphy on it, which I don't know what the language actually used is. It may be in Urdu. Um, okay. So the Taj Mahal is in Agra, right? Which here's Delhi up here. The Google Maps, that the priority is taken by New Delhi, which really, I think is a bad idea. Like that's really kind of a neighborhood in Delhi, and I tend to think of the whole National Capital Territory as being Delhi. Um, that we have, so yeah, and then it's on this side of the city. Um, Yeah, so that kind of matches, right? I'm looking south. Um, so I'll provisionally put it we were on this side of the marble palazzo around it. Um, okay. Okay, so we walk out toward the gardens. Okay, so yeah, so I was correct that this was India's version of the dumb test. All right. Interesting that I got that on the very first round. Uh, okay. So this, yeah, there's a lot of college campus sort of locations here. Um, I think these are coconut palms, which are not found in colder parts of India. Like I think that you're unlikely to find them, for instance, around Delhi. Um, that surprisingly around Delhi temperatures can drop, close to freezing on cold winter nights. And so, okay, that's a Norfolk Island pine. Also something from warmer climates, but probably less diagnostic than a coconut palm would be. Okay, there's the library. So there's this is one of those college campuses. Wait, does that have? Also, the college campus areas have a lot of English, which is useful. Um, let's see. So does that say Mon something? Yeah, I can't tell. Okay. Yeah, often trying to find the front gate of the university is useful in these sorts of things. Um, like for instance, I think there are several IITs, Indian Institutes of Technology, with photosphere coverage like this. Um, okay. Oh, there's a gate. Oh, you can see that like in many tropical former British colonies, we have the white and black pattern. Here for the speed bump. Um, all right. Can we get to the front gate and see if there's any signs on it? No, it looks like this is as far as you can go. Yeah, stop sign in the distance. Some, European looking electrical stuff. Um, oh, remember to guess. Okay. So this was this was Goa. Okay. Um, yeah, so Goa is one of the smallest states in India. Um, it was actually a Portuguese colony that was retained through the entire British period. And then when India became independent, Portugal at the time was an authoritarian state. I think by that time Salazar was either deceased or very old, but that that it was a government that did not believe in decolonization, and so Goa was seized by India in 1961. Um, and there's a funny story about that. So here you can see it was BITS Pilani KK Burla Goa campus. Um, yeah, so the that at the time when India became independent, that there was a tendency toward puritanical beliefs among both the Hindu and Muslim founders of India, and as a result, there was actually a ban on alcohol in most of India, or I think possibly all of it in the post-independence era, which is still actually in effect in some states, and that Goa not being part of India, for that became a major source of alcohol for Indians for whom it was banned by law. Um, and that I don't know exactly what happened when India took it over, but I think by that point that the Indian government was becoming more tolerant of alcohol than shortly after independence, um, and that's not an uncommon fate for alcohol bans. That they tend to really only be persistent. If backed up by Islam. Okay, so we have waterfall. Yeah, so again, there's a lot of these photosphere sort of coverage. This one, it says there's no copyright notice, which you always look for in these sorts of things. Sometimes sometimes the source will actually tell you something about the location, but this one it just says copyright Google. Um, let's see, there's a Muslim woman back there. Yeah, yeah. So it looks like there's maybe an above average amount of Muslims here. Um, okay. That's Bengali script there. Okay, so um, that Bangladesh is heavily Muslim, but that West Bengal state, you can see that it's actually the same script on both sides of the border here. The capital of West Bengal state is Kolkata. Um, and that okay. So I'd suggest looking at the map to see, like if you can distinguish Bengali from the Nagari script used in Hindi, for instance, in Bihar state next door. Um, okay. So I'm going to say this is like the Damodar Valley up here. It looks like it doesn't really look like Bangladesh. It's too hilly. Um, let's see. Okay, so here we have a sign in English. Fatalities taking bath in the tarn and steep toe from the overhang. Yeah, that you'll sometimes see these odd words in Indian English. Oh, Deputy Commander Movie Bazaar. So that's where we are. Bazaar means the bazaar of the cleric, right? Like that's like mullah. So let's see. I want to say Movie Bazaar is up here. It sounds like a familiar place. Wait, that's in Bihar. They're Faraka. I think it's maybe near. Um, let's see, Movie Bazaar. Can we find it? West Bengal extends over the top of Bangladesh. This area this area here is known as the chicken neck, is I've heard as a term for it, where West Bengal extends up here. You know, Sikkim up here is a separate state which didn't become part of India until 1971, and then there's this piece here, and then you can see that the Bengali script stops here at the border of Assam. Um, that Assamese is written in the same script as Bengali, but it doesn't seem to be used on the maps. And also, a large part of the Assamese population is not does not speak Bengali. Um, Also, that this part of West Bengal state up here, um, actually does not use Bengali as much. That there they tend to use the language that's called Gorkhali in India and Nepali in Nepal. Um, and Yeah, in fact, you can see here that Darjeeling, the label is in Nagari script and not in Bengali at all. So that even Google uses Nagari in some, uh, it looks like in a small part of West Bengal state up here, in rec, that I'm, so here that they seem to be using names from, Nepali or Hindi. Okay, so, oh, just for future reference, oh, yeah, that's not what I was expecting at all. Um, See, there's Movie Bazaar. Oh, this is an error. This is a location that's actually in Bangladesh, the Madhab Kunda waterfall. Okay, so yeah, as I said, Bangladesh is heavily Muslim, and that a lot of the refugees in the partition of India, um, that a lot of them were Hindus fleeing from from what at that time was East Pakistan. Uh, and then later Bangladesh became independent from Pakistan in the 1971 India-Pakistan War, which was mostly about that particular issue that of Bengali nationalists wanting to separate from Pakistan and ultimately resulting in a civil war, which was then and then India intervened in it, and Bangladesh became independent. Okay, so we have this location. Okay, so here we have a sculpture of Ganesh. It looks like a peacock. Yeah, so the style here looks somewhat old, right? Like there's some influence of ultimately Greco-Roman art on some of the later Hindu stuff. That it came to India basically through Islam, and um, there's actually multiple waves of influence of Greco-Roman art on Hindu sculpture. But um, oh, hello. Yes, we've actually got viewers. Uh, well, that's nice to know. And if people have any comments, let's see. So how do we get out of here? Okay, there's a temple tank. Yeah. So what I'm doing now is, I've got the India episode, which of course, it's the only country in Explorer mode that has no official coverage. Okay. Oh, there's no, that's a roof. Okay, I thought that might be hills in the background. Um, yeah, there might be some hills in the background. Looks like it's not flat, but like not particularly mountainous either. Where they certainly don't look like the Himalayas. Yeah. Also from the kind of rock here, that yeah, that's I guess that's sort of a soft sedimentary rock. That might be the deposit. Um, there's a thick deposit of sedimentary rock that eroded off of the Himalayas and filled up a shallow ocean here. In the collision of India with the rest of Asia, which I think was around the Cretaceous period. Around 60 or 70 million years ago. Um, okay, so yeah, there's not a lot I can tell with the artistic style. But yeah, I'm thinking from the geology and the relative flatness, maybe it's on the south side of the Indo-Gangetic Plain here, like maybe around Shanxi. Um, we haven't seen any language, like so we don't have even that sort of clue, which often you can identify the state from. Okay, so it was in a setting close to the Himalayas, then in Himachal Pradesh. Um, oh, by the way, I should mention also here I called the mountains the Himalayas. That's correct. That in English the pronunciation Himalaya is found a lot, and that it's actually incorrect. Like that's from people analyzing a spelling where the long vowels were not marked. Um, and that the actual pronunciation of the mountain range is Himalaya. Okay. Wait, is that Himachal Pradesh or is that yeah, okay. So here I mentioned you can tell the state sometimes from the script. This is Nagari. Himachal Pradesh is a Hindi speaking state. Um, and then here you can see that in Punjab state next to it that they do not use Nagari script, at least on the map here. That this is a Gurumukhi script, which that in Punjab it actually the Gurumukhi script tends to be associated with Sikhs, um, but that's the largest religion in Punjab state. Okay. Um, and so you can see that the Gurumukhi script is used in the markings here in Punjab, and then um, Chandigarh is also marked on here in Gurumukhi script, even though Chandigarh is the neutral capital of both Punjab and Haryana state, and that the labels here in Haryana state are in Nagari script. For instance, here Kurukshetra, which is named after the location of the battle in the Bhagavad Gita, and that also Kurukshetra is again again I think I want to say this city was called something else recently. Because I don't remember encountering it, right? Here's Panipat. Yeah, maybe it has been called that for a while. I don't know. Um, all right. Okay, that's Nagari script. Um, yeah, I know a little bit of Hindi, not very much, but not enough that I'm likely to spend that much effort trying to read it. But okay, so this is a mansion, right? What architecturally I think is referred to as a haveli. Like a so something that's kind of a small palace, perhaps owned by like a wealthy non-royal person, I would guess. Um, okay. Um, Yep. So India citizen entry charge 10 rupees, foreigner citizen entry charge 250 rupees because, you're not a taxpayer. Um, okay, videography 100 rupees. Wait, so here this is probably the name of the place. That is, let's see, Rajya Somrakshi um Rajvara um Palace, right? That's like the English word key. Uh Pravesh uh, da, Damre. Right, okay, nothing immediately obvious as the location there, right? Okay, so here's the end of the sphere. Tuk-tuks are very common in India. Um, the word for these things in Hindi, I believe, is auto. Like from the English word auto. Um, let's see. There's okay. Here another yeah, sometimes these things are you will find an English version, but I'm not seeing one. Okay. So yeah, I'm going to guess Delhi for this one. Um this is the so-called Old Delhi here around the Red Fort. Um I think yeah, let's put it in Chandni Chowk, which is kind of the okay. So we zoom in and see where it actually was. It was in Indore. Okay. Um, and that Indore is definitely in a Hindi speaking state, right? Madhya Pradesh is Hindi speaking. Oh, you can see here that that in Gujarat, Gujarat state has a alphabet that looks like Nagari, but it does not have the line across the top. Um, And in fact, if you know Nagari, which I do, the letter forms are almost the same in Gujarati, but there is no line around across the top. Okay. Uh, that Madhya Pradesh has Indore, Bhopal, and Jabalpur. Um, yeah, here that I should mention that in this name, the B and the H are actually both pronounced. But this is difficult to do for an English speaker. But it's pronounced Bhopal. Okay. So 8,344 points, a rather unspectacular score, but it is a difficult map. Okay. So, um, yeah, that's interesting. It says my best score was 7,819, so it didn't update that. Okay. Um, so we can use the same settings again. Okay, so we're in this looks like some sort of modern architecture with it looks like they've drained the pool. We have the chaiselong here. Um, ooh, okay, let's look at the view. Um, so these are fairly large mountains. Yeah, and there's snow. So that I think strongly indicates that we are in the Himalayas. I don't think snow is found anywhere else, and in fact, Himalaya means the place of snow, right? That in fact, the suffix laya comes from the same word as the English word lay. Um, that it means where the snow lies. Um, yeah, so I'd say, that considering that we're looking down on snow, we must be at, like maybe 2,000 meters or more elevation. Um, okay. Doesn't say what the facility is on the whirlpool usage guidelines. Okay, so we're allowed to go back into here. Therapy too. Okay, so this is, a spa of some kind, I would say. Uh, there's the weights room. Yeah, for location, that oddly we want to see language other than English, right? Like that would narrow well, it might not narrow things down much though, because that that since we saw the Himalayas, we know that we have to be in the north, and I think almost every place would have Hindi script, unless we're in Assam. Um, I mean Nagari script, I mean it's used Nagari script is used by more than one language. Um, of course, I do call Bengali script Bengali, even though it's used in Assamese. So, um, I don't know if there's a language neutral term for it. Okay. So we're running low on time. I'm going to say that this is I think this is maybe in the Western Himalayas. I'm going to go with Shimla, which wait, actually Shimla is not high enough in elevation, but maybe somewhere in the area. Um, I think Shimla is like 1,500 meters or something. It's at the sort of level of the Himalayas that takes the edge off of the heat, and produces a sort of mild climate, which gets some snow in the winter time, I think. Um, yeah, that the snow line, I think in the northern Himalayas, up here, I think is in the neighborhood of 1,000 to 2,000 meters. Like I know specifically that it snows in Srinagar, fairly often, but I think Srinagar is something like 1,000 to 1,500 meters, and is fairly far to the north. You can see that Srinagar is actually north of Islamabad. Um, and to take a really drastic example, Srinagar's latitude is something like 33 or 34 degrees. It is actually quite a bit farther north than Shanghai. But the Indian subcontinent, at the same latitude actually has a significantly warmer climate than East Asia does. Um, and that has to do with the blockage from of wind currents from by the Himalayas, that it blocks circulation, and so air in the Indian subcontinent tends to sort of waft off of the Arabian Sea and the Bay of Bengal, and then there are seasonal shifts in the prevailing winds, which result in the wet and dry seasons, which are very pronounced in India. Okay, so it looks like we're in some kind of a larger urban area, right? That we're on a waterfront. Um, okay, we can't see the other side, so this is probably the ocean. Um, I don't think there are any gigantic lakes in India. Um, let's see, we can probably guess which side it's on from. Okay, so if we look north, we can see that it's yeah, so I'm going to guess maybe we're on this segment of coastline, maybe in Vishakhapatnam. Um, yeah, here in Vishakhapatnam, this is the Telugu language. The Telugu language is spoken in Andhra Pradesh state along the coastline here, and also in Telangana around Hyderabad. And Andhra Pradesh and Telangana were separated in fairly recent times. I think maybe around like 2005 to 2010. Um, let's see. Yep. All right. So, yeah, there's also some mild differences in appearance between different ethnic groups in India that I would guess looking at this that this is less sort of Central Asian Pakistan look, like more southern, which would back up it being in Andhra Pradesh. Um, that also it being a nice beach, it probably means that it's not sort of close to the Ganges Delta, which that this is more a straight, surf beaten sort of coastline with a lot of wave action to produce sand. Um, let's see. Do we see any language? We have RK Township Group, Iswaria, Narayane. Um, Narayan means like Vishnu, right? The deity, I think. Ishwarya is the Lord, right? So um, okay, so yeah, I don't see any language other than English on there, which is okay. That's I think that's not Telugu. Is that Telugu or not? It's okay. That is Telugu. And so we were actually only 9 kilometers off, which so that's a very good round. For yeah, that just right at the last second there, we actually found Indian language. Um, and what I was unsure of is that Telugu is similar in appearance to the Kannada language, which is Kannada is spoken in Karnataka state over here. Um, and then that these are quite similar looking. And then in the south, then there's a very different appearance of Malayalam language from Kerala, and the Tamil language from Tamil Nadu. Um, okay. And Tamil language is also found in northern Sri Lanka, and I think you also find it fairly far south on this side. And the Tamil language you will also occasionally encounter in Singapore because of British Empire era migrations. That there's a substantial South Asian community there that uses Tamil. Okay, so almost a repeat. Okay, somebody has been putting way too many dumb tests in here. I guess you do at least have to know that it's in Agra, like a lot of people think that the Taj Mahal is in Delhi. Um, okay. Um, so yeah, okay. So we've got to be in the gardens, right? Like the city starts here, which that must be is there a gate here? Mughal Craft Palace, yeah. So Jilokana, it says for cart. Um, yep. Hold on. Hello? Um, yep. Oh, yeah, I'm home. Yep. Yep. Bye. Yeah, I knew that was likely to be a very fast phone call. Okay. State Bank ATM Nagari script. Um, yeah, you do sometimes encounter Hindi out of area, so Nagari script does not necessarily mean that you're in a state where the state language uses it. Electronics and computer stuff. Okay, so uh, this is another one where it looks like a college campus. Scholars pay less. Um, okay, there's Nagari script. Um, wait, is it, no, that's RV miss. Whoa, okay. Uh, yeah, these are probably signs pointing to different things in the area. Instead, that there may be locational information on there, but I would be unlikely to find it. Um, Central ISEO banking solution. Roorkee. Oh, Punjab National Bank. Roorkee branch. So, that the Punjabi, as I said, Punjabi in Gurumukhi script is used on the map, but um, yeah, I remember. Actually, I've gotten the Roorkee before. Uh, just have to remember where it is. I want to say it's actually in Himachal Pradesh too. Let's see, Roorkee. Hmm, okay, so I forgot to move my guess into Punjab, which would have helped. Okay, so so here's it's near Jalandhar. Um, okay. Hmm. That's odd. Oh, that's because that's where I guessed. Okay. Okay, that I was confused. Yeah. Okay, so we were not in fact in Punjab. That was just the name of the bank. That Roorkee is actually in Uttarakhand. Okay. So Uttarakhand, another Hindi-speaking state. Capital of Uttarakhand, I think, is Dehradun. Um, and capital of Himachal Pradesh is Shimla, which I think I mentioned before. And then Uttar Pradesh is the largest Hindi-speaking state. Um, I think Lucknow is the capital of Uttar Pradesh, but I'm not sure. It might be Kanpur. Lucknow is the center of a was the center of a large state in the late Mughal and British period, and that as I remember the this state was called Awadh, and the end of its dynasty was the cause of the was a major cause of the Indian Revolt of 1857 against British rule. Um, that and the whole thing with the British Army, deciding to use beef tallow as the lubricant in their musket cartridges. You know, it's interesting, like if they had just been early adopters of breech loading rifles, they would have never had this problem. Well, I mean, that there probably would have been a revolt that didn't involve the British defilement of soldiers with beef tallow. But anyway, that and yeah, and then that also Hindi speaking states, Bihar. Um, I think it's better described as using Hindi as formal language, but that the labels on the map are in Nagari script, and Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan. You'll notice Rajasthan has an H in it, so that it's pronounced a bit differently from places ending in STAN. That this is Rajasthan. Um, Okay, and then Maharashtra has the Marathi language, which uses the same script as Hindi, but is a different language. And of course, Nepali is also written in Nagari script. Um, and that the language called Nepali is actually not native to the entire country. It's mostly over here, and so that explains why Nepali is the local language around Darjeeling, and also and there's also a population that speaks it even in Bhutan. Um, I think concentrated right along the bottom of the Himalayas, right here, where it becomes flat, and then you have the Indian border. Okay, wait, I have 17,000 points. Wow, like I didn't think I was doing that well. Uh, we have Nasser, God Gift. Um, yeah, this is one of those Indian cars, right? Like I don't know what kind this is specifically, but yeah, that this looks like it's that you see a lot of unusual cars in India. You know, the classic one, is the old Hindustan Ambassador, which I think is no longer in use. That they finally stopped making the thing, but it was actually an old British car that survived in India long after it did in Britain, and that. All right, so this place, you know, uh, yeah, so modern looking buildings. Um, Again, I think this is probably not a particularly cold part of India from the plant life. Looks like we have checkpoints with people in uniform. Let's see, building number 14. Let's see. Yeah, so yeah, this kind of soil, there's a lot of sort of pinkish and orangish soils in India. Uh, this looks like neither, but I don't know the distribution of soil types. There's Okay, so there's the city in the background. Yeah, that's kind of nondescript India. Dense, scattered modern buildings. I think this might not be a larger city looking at the appearance. Um, Security. Yeah, but sometimes you will actually find places in India where where you're stuck in a place that doesn't have a lot of non-English language in it, uh, which is kind of strange. And okay, yeah, if I had guessed, I might have, I wouldn't have gotten a gold, but I probably could have gotten a fairly high silver. It was Hyderabad, so it actually was in a larger city. Um, you know, well, not in Hyderabad, presumably, this is Madhapur. Uh, this poor ending is very common in place names in India, and you see it even in, for instance, Singapore. Um, or I mean, it's even used in Thai. There's, for instance, there's a Chonburi near Bangkok. Uh, yeah, okay, there's the ending again, Nonthaburi there. Um, and that that the Singapore ending. There's for instance there's a place. It's I think it's somewhere around here. Yeah, Midnapore. Midnapore is actually the name of a neighborhood, oddly in Calgary, and there's the odd part that Midnapore was was first named after a place in India, for British imperial reasons, and then um, that oddly Indians moved to that part of Calgary, and so that there's this odd thing that the Indian part of Calgary is actually a place that has an Indian name that was assigned before there were Indians there. Um, okay, so I get to a silver, and unless I have an incredible run of good luck, I'm unlikely to get a gold here. Or of course, if I get repeats, which I don't, yeah, yeah, I don't know how many locations there are on this map. So, all right. So I guess then there's one more play, right? Uh, you know, okay. Classical Hindu art. Um, yeah, something that you see sometimes with art is that that in depictions of women, that that there's that over the centuries, that in modern India there's less um, that's there's much stricter rules about female nudity than there was in ancient times. People in ancient India, often did not wear that much clothing, and that can sometimes hint at the date of sculptures, that these are at least old. Um, However, the shift to more covering clothing, like it happened over a long period of time, and that in some areas like Kerala, that the traditional style persisted even as late as the British era. Um, okay, so All right. So plenty of tourists. Okay, we have monks. It looks like you in the saffron colored outfits. Well, maybe those aren't monks, but like they're a group of people dressed alike. In if we could see the sign, like that might be useful. We could tell which, get information about the state from the scripts used. Um, let's see. The other question is, do I think this looks maybe like a South Indian temple, that I think this could be Andhra Pradesh or Karnataka. Yeah, yeah, I'm going to plunk it in Mysuru. Um, you'll see this place is called Mysore on old maps, and then Bengaluru. That this that is the traditional name Bangalore. Is still in common use. When I say traditional, I mean in English. That okay. So it was Odisha. Yeah, you'll notice there's no script on the map in Odisha, and that it's because the script that they have in Odisha is hard to read on in small font sizes. I guess it doesn't display well on the map. Um, yeah, I know that sounds kind of weird, but yeah, that the Odia language is recognizable very very quickly. That it's the script that has circular arcs on top, instead of a line across. That each character is in a big circular arc, um, and and then that the problem that you have, as I said, with readability at small font sizes is that Odia letters, a lot of the height is actually taken up by the loop at the top, and then the part that indicates what letter it is actually, a thing in the middle of the loop down at the bottom. Okay. Um, so I have Skyline Executive, right? Hmm. Uh, one of the tuk tuks. I guess the difference between a tuk tuk and a car is that a tuk tuk has one wheel in the front instead of two, right? Um, okay. Uh, yeah, I think relatively warm climate. Those are coconut palms, I think. Um, yeah, the taxis have the same look as the tuk-tuks. Is their language on the taxis? Yeah, not finding Indian language on the taxis. Uh, Naman Group, it says on that sign. Yeah, yeah, you'll see both white and black and yellow and black in India. I've noticed on this kind of stuff. And as I said, that sort of striping is typical of tropical former British colonies. Nabard, committed to rural prosperity. Um, yeah, so this is modern city, fairly open. Um, oh yeah, Hindi script. Um, all right. Yeah. So yeah, there being land available for something like this, like Mumbai tends to be very, very dense. Um, and this I think is sort of a modern area near a large city. I'm thinking that this might be Gurgaon or one of the, outer areas of Delhi outside of oh yeah, Gurugram it's called on the map. Gurgaon is another name for it. Or Noida over here is another area that might look like that. Yeah, I'm going to go actually for Greater Noida, okay, which Greater Noida is farther away from Delhi than Noida. Oh, it was the Mumbai area. Okay, that's interesting. Where is there? And it was on the island, which really is not what I was expecting. Um, so U.S. Consulate General Mumbai. So this is some kind of, new, newer business area, right? Um, which, yeah, yeah, because you tend to think of Mumbai as being very dense, buildings packed together. Um, you know, um, Also, it's interesting. Mumbai is marked up here. The historic center of Mumbai is actually down at the bottom of the island. That here there's the fort. Um, there's let's see, the Asiatic Society of Mumbai Town Hall. Um, yeah, that I think historically this area was the central train station. Um, oh, there it is. Yeah, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Terminus is the end of the rail line next to the historic center of Mumbai. Um, Yeah. So that's not unusual for some place with a constrained location like this to develop successive centers, moving to less confined areas, that here the historic center is down here and then modern buildings, are farther to the north, and it looks like those maybe are centered around here. Uh, Manhattan shows a similar pattern. The Colonial Center was around Broadway and Wall Street, and in New York City there were only a few colonial buildings that survived. Most of them were actually destroyed by artillery barrages in the American Revolution. Um, and then 19th century center is in Manhattan is around like 14th or 23rd Street, and then um, that by the 1930s things had moved to Midtown around 34th and 42nd Street, which is where the tallest buildings in Manhattan are now, and of course in the in recent times, the last 10 years or so, there's been the construction of the so-called billionaires row, like the ultra tall residential buildings on 57th Street, where they have views of the park. Uh, right. So, let's see. We have is there language on that sign? Oh yeah, it's turned on its side. I think that's Nagari script. Um, yeah, I think that is not Bengali, which is the other script that has a line across the top, right? Okay, so we've got a river, um, sandy banks. Yeah, I'm thinking from the it's less flat. I'm thinking that is not the Ganges. It's also not big enough. Um, it could be a moat for this structure, right? That So I would say, architecture, looks maybe more Mughal, which would be northern India. The Mughals having, ruled from, Delhi or surrounding areas. I think Akbar actually reigned at Lahore for part of his time as emperor. Um, yeah, so yeah, looks and the Mughal architecture, it looks more like Persian or Central Asian stuff, right? Like for instance, it's kind of the stereotype of what old Indian architecture looks like is from the Mughals, which and the Mughals were reigned between I think around 1520, and that the last Mughal emperor technically was the one deposed by the British in the 1857 Indian Revolt, but um, that actual authority, of the later Mughals was, not very strong. Most of the empire was in the hands of virtually independent fiefs. Um, but that the height of Mughal power was between, I would say, about 1520 and 1700. Um, so where do I think this is? I think this is maybe drier, like this could be Rajasthan, it could be Delhi. Uh, let's see. Oh, yeah, always remember to guess. Okay, so it was Burhanpur. Is this? Yeah, this is Madhya Pradesh and not Maharashtra. It looks like, yeah, very close to the border. Uh, yeah, and so that must be the river. Is that the Narmada? No, the Tapi. Okay. Um, yeah, so the Tapi is it's parallel to the Narmada, right? I think the Narmada, I think, is it? Yeah, this one. Uh, that yeah, as I remember, the Narmada had a rather controversial dam project, in the 1990s or so. Um, I think it was actually done. I think maybe it's this reservoir. Okay. Yeah, so it looks like we're headed for a particularly low score here. um, okay, Novotel. We're on a beach again. Um, okay, we've got CMR Visaka. Okay, that might be a place. Um, wait, Vishakhapatnam, right? We were. Did it put us on the same beach twice? Um, yeah, yeah, I think maybe these guys could use some more coverage. Um, there's also the mysterious question, like why is there not Street View in India? And my understanding is that India has these archaic mapping laws that ultimately came from the British. Um, that in British India they were actually concerned, like about foreigners even knowing things about the basic layout of the Indian subcontinent. It was like they thought that if they had good maps, that the Cossacks would ride down from Moscow. Um, something which, of course, didn't happen until the 1980s. And then, of course, the Russians were stopped by the great graveyard of empires, Afghanistan. Yeah, okay, so it looks like this is Vishakhapatnam. You'll notice that there's Nagari script and Telugu on here, saying that swimming is prohibited. um, which, okay, so maybe it's that beach, right? Yeah, looks like it has the right orientation and everything. Um, yeah, okay, there's no, looks like that billboard is in English, mostly. Um, yeah, Tena Monahet, yeah, swimming, that must mean swimming is prohibited. Um, Newtown Sagar, it looks like it says. Hmm. Let's see. Beach viewpoint. Do I see any? Hmm. Nope. Yeah, nothing obvious. Okay. So it was Vishakhapatnam, but it was up there. Okay. So wait, it's Vishakhapatnam, right? It's a retroflex and like Patna is, right? I think that's true. I think that might be like the ending pit that you see in Karnataka and other southern states. We're on a train. Okay. It looks like it's a full gauge train. 1.462 meters, right? 67. It says 81. Yeah. We may not have a lot of clues here. It looks like it's hilly and relatively dry, which makes me think that relatively dry, you have sort of, like here, the coastline here is extremely wet, especially toward, like around Mumbai and Goa. And then there's a drier area in the interior here, and then extending up, of course, the relatively dry appearance, then it becomes general, as you approach the deserts going this way. Um, so where do I think this is? Maybe, all preliminary, I'll guess around here, and then if I notice something else, um, wait, as the train turns, can we see anything on here? NRI, NR, that might just mean national railroads, right? Yeah, the other thing about dryness, though, is that, a lot of India has a prolonged dry season, and so, even in relatively wet climates, it can look like this seasonally, except that, also, I mentioned this is a full width railroad that in places in India they built small railroads that they were for areas with steeper hills or some kind of special purpose. And there were actually a few well-known narrow gauge railroads in India. Like there's one in Udagamandala in Tamil Nadu. Let's see, Uti, right? Is the short for Udagamandala. Uh, that explains why the Tamil is so much longer than the English here. Um, yeah. So let's see. So where was that? That was. Oh, it was Himalayas area then near Shimla. Okay. Um, right. Yeah, there's is that the railroad track on the no, that looks like that may just be a border line. Um, okay. All right. So yeah. So yeah, this is a tendency that I have on these things to talk a lot and sometimes forget to guess. So and yeah, that this is the India is definitely a difficult map, right? That here I got 5,545 points in four guesses. Okay. Um In fact, you can see in the game breakdown, that there was the guess in Vishakhapatnam I knew, and that was partially a repeat, that earlier in this very stream I was plunked on the same beach. Um, yeah. And yeah, that also, so it looks like they could definitely use some more coverage. Um, and we still want to know, like why is there this resistance to Street View? I mean, they do have these archaic mapping laws in India, but that could change. That with you kind of want people to figure out where they're going. All right. Um, so then these are in alphabetical order by domain name. So after IN, you have IOIP. IR is Iran, which doesn't have coverage. IQ is Iraq, not no coverage. So next is IS, Iceland, and so that should be another one that's interesting. And so thank you for watching, and have a